Yeah, and tonight we've got a very special evening. Tonight we're going to be hearing from two people about why they are Buddhists. They're going to be giving short personal talks about why they are Buddhists. I've heard this talk so many times, and every time it's different. Every time it's individual, it's distinct, and every time it communicates something. So we're going to be hearing from Damien here shortly, but I'm just going to sort of say a little bit more about these talks, about why we do these talks. Unfortunately, Alison Litherland, who also agreed to give a talk, is ill today, so couldn't come in. So Amarachandra has courageously stepped in without notes, without preparation, and she's going to tell us why she's a Buddhist, her own story. Yeah, but I'm the Mitra convener, what's called Mitra convener. Mitra is a Sanskrit word which means friend. So when people start to feel that they're Buddhists, they can start to explore if they want to become a Mitra, a friend of the order, of the community here. They want to make a certain sort of make it explicit that they want to be more involved with Buddhism, with these people, and take that further. So as a Mitra convener, I meet up with people at that stage where they want to explore if they want to do that, if they want to become a Mitra. And so I know quite a lot of the story that Damien's going to tell, but it's always great asking people to do these talks, because different things come out when you have to get up in front of people. You reflect, with a keener mind, don't you? And one of the things that Damien told me, which I found really, really interesting, is that the story's changed. So his own story of why he became Buddhist has changed as a consequence of doing this talk, because he looked back at the facts. Now, what he was going to tell us was that he wasn't that interested in Buddhism before he came along to the centre in 2018, I think we clarified. But in the process of writing the talk, he went back and looked at his Kindle purchases and discovered that he bought a book on Buddhism back in 2014, 4 years before he was going to say he ever had an interest in Buddhism. So isn't that interesting? And actually, that really... Don't give too much away. Yeah, I asked him if I could tell him that. But what I find really interesting about that is it reflects my own experience, actually, of becoming a Buddhist. I went along, I read about Buddhism. I was very, very nervous about going on to a Buddhist centre, but I did. I wanted to find out, does this meditation do anything? Does it really work, as they say it does? And then, I don't remember how long it was, but months later, I started to feel, oh God, I think I'm a Buddhist. And it was a shock to me. It was a shock. So that's a bit what we're like, isn't it? There's something kind of steering us, but the person who thinks they're making the decisions, often it's a sort of it's a postscript, it's a kind of after writing. You kind of move in this direction. There I was, moving towards the Buddhist center, but then I was shocked to discover that I was actually really interested in what was going on at the Buddhist center. Shocked to discover, oh God, I think I'm a Buddhist. So we're moved by something, but our own sort of internal narrative is that of when the decisions are made is slightly different. So there was Damien kind of moved towards Buddhism back in 2014 for whatever reason, but not really quite realizing that. That wasn't part of the narrative. The narrative was, no, I'm not that interested in Buddhism. I'm interested in meditation. Yeah, so I thought that was a very striking very striking story, actually, that there's something that sort of moves us towards Buddhism. We don't quite know what it is. We may not have even identified it, quite what it is, that's kind of moving us to come to the Buddhist Center. But if you keep coming, it will probably catch up with you. Yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting. And then I think there's this other area, actually, with being a Buddhist that can come up, this area of labels. Why sort of take up the label of becoming a Buddhist? And I think through being a Buddhist, I know that it's not really a label. As Sangha Night, my teacher, the founder of Triratna, said, becoming a Buddhist in name is worse than useless. A Buddhist needs to grow a little every day, needs to change a little every day. So what he's getting at there is that Buddhist really is a verb. It's a verb. It's something that you do. Now, labels are easier than that. But really what we're identifying with when we become a Buddhist is it's not a label for ourselves. We're identifying what our values are. That was my experience of discovering, oh God, I think actually I really resonate with this. I think these are my values. That's what we're actually identifying with. So rather than it being a self-identity, it's an identity with the values of Buddhism. Yeah, and as I say, that can come as a discovery, a shock, sometimes to realize how strongly we're resonating with something. Anyway, that's just a little bit by way of sort of preamble about this area of discovering that you're a Buddhist. So I think the last thing I want to say is, well, we can discover what a Buddhist is by looking in a book, can't we? Reading in a book. But I would say that you're going to discover probably more by listening to a Buddhist. That's where we're going to discover Buddhism, because Buddhism is a verb. It's not a theory. It's not an abstract theory. It's something that is done. So in some ways, we pick up, we may not fully understand what we're picking up, but we discover more, we learn more from hearing individuals talking about why I am a Buddhist. We learn more about Buddhism from hearing talks like these about why I am a Buddhist. So that's why we put poor innocent people in this terrifying position of revealing their lives to very friendly but some strangers. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough by way of preamble. So I want to invite Damien to come forward and speak to us about why he is a Buddhist. So that's for your pocket. Ooh, I don't think I put that on the edge. Great, marvelous. And actually, just before Damien starts to speak, just wanted to introduce him a little bit. So I've been getting to know Damien more for, I suppose, since 2018, slightly after that, since you've been coming along. And I think one of the things with Damien that's really delightful, actually, is just a very, very straightforward desire to help. He might even say a little bit about this, actually, but he's been just sort of supporting courses over the last few months. And it's really delightful, actually, just that pleasure in wanting to help out. It's sort of, it gives more than just a practical kind of benefit of somebody, writing a shrine or leading a group or something like that. Actually, it gives you a lift just to see how much somebody wants to help out. So that's very congruent with what I've been getting to know of Damien. Actually, got just sort of very easy, straightforward response to community. Actually, it's really lovely to be around, in lots of different ways. There's just this sort of really easy, natural response to participating in community. Lovely honesty that he communicates with. So very good to have you come to talk to us about why you're a Buddhist. Over to you.
Thank you, Otter City. So it's nice to see so many friendly faces, and I must admit I am enjoying being in this room, particularly because of the Buddha Rupa. I think it's there are some rupas that you look at and you associate with more than others, and this is one that I particularly like. So pleased to be in this room. So my story starts off in childhood. When growing up, grew up a Catholic, went to Catholic church and Catholic schools and that type of thing. And when I left church every Sunday, walking home, I felt an inner peace. And so from a very young age, I was quite spiritual. In my late teens, I started suffering from insomnia, and I reached a stage at which I couldn't sleep, stayed awake for 6 days. After the 6 days, I started seeing basically dreaming while awake, which is quite a scary thing. And my sister said to me, go upstairs, go to bed, try and relax, don't try and sleep, just try and relax. And, relaxing is better than nothing. And so I went upstairs, got in bed, and I just tried to relax. Didn't worry about sleeping, and I fell asleep for 13 hours. And it's the longest time because I don't sleep for long periods of time each night. So that's the longest time I think I've slept in one go. So this idea of this relaxation really got to me, and I started looking at books about relaxation, and different things, and I ended up looking at relaxation exercises. And so I started doing relaxation exercises, and it really helped. They cured my insomnia. Now, relaxation exercises then basically are what we call meditation. So the relaxation exercise basically would be a body scan, what we would call a body scan, with a bit more kind of imagination involved. So but for years I didn't know it was meditation, and I didn't know anything about a body scan. Over time I stopped going to church and became agnostic. I wasn't brave enough to call myself an atheist. So I stuck with the title agnostic. Then over time I got married, had a family, and I've got two daughters. And as Artisi was saying, I started. Well, what happened was I started with work stress and home life stress and everything. Started suffering from insomnia again. About 2014, 2015. So I started looking at books about meditation, and they led me on to looking at books about Buddhism. And so I bought books in January 2015, bought some Kindle books, about Buddhism, and they went into the Dharma, and I intellectually, the Dharma made a lot of sense to me, and I was reading these books, just taking them in, from an intellectual level, but not spiritual level. So I did this for a couple of years, kind of read the books about the Dharma, and about Buddha, about his life and this type of thing, for a couple of years, and I was trying to use these books to meditate, and it wasn't working for me. Kept suffering from insomnia, kept going back to the original things that I was doing. That really helped, and but the books that I was reading about meditation weren't really helping, because I think it's very difficult to learn to meditate from a book. I think you need much more kind of practical knowledge and instruction than a book can offer. So I was talking to someone at work, and they told me about the Cambridge Buddhist Centre, because I was telling them that I was finding this Buddhist stuff very interesting, and this this Dharma and stories about the Buddha and everything, is finding them interesting, reading about them. And so I looked at the Cambridge Buddhist Centre, the website, and ended up coming along to a meditation night. And I thought that meditation night would be very good. It was amazing. So meditated, and it's worked very well at kind of relaxing me and that type of thing. So I got a lot out of that, and signed up to do the Introduction to Buddhism and Meditation. And Sangha Night was the person who was teaching that class. And so I was fine with it at an intellectual level, as at a teaching level, and then it came along to ritual, and it's not something that I was that I knew existed in Buddhism, because I was thinking that the Buddhism was a very kind of intellectual philosophy. And then you kind of start bowing to the Buddha Rupa, and you kind of go, well, what's this about? I didn't sign up for this. So I wanted to learn about the Buddha and about the Dharma, and so I, about halfway through the course, I backed off the course. From an emotional level, kept coming along to the classes because I thought I'll learn a few things while coming along, but I kind of switched off. I did get a lot out of the meditation that I learned in that, though, and I came back to the Cambridge Buddhist Centre to do the meditation 1 and 2. And again, Sangha was the person who led them, and she was absolutely amazing, at teaching meditation. So we learned a lot of different practices, including the mindfulness of breathing and the Metta Bhavana, and we also learned some kind of receptive meditations and that type of thing. And so after doing meditation 1 and 2 course, I kept my daily meditation practice going for a long time after that. The year after that, my cousin died, and she was only a couple of years older than me. And so when I found out about this, I was at work, and there's nothing I could really do about it. And I decided that what I was going to do is I was going to make myself feel better by doing the Metta Bhavana for her. And so I thought, for me personally, it'd be a way of me saying goodbye to her. It'd be a way of me kind of kind of reconciling this in my mind that she died and everything. And so I did the Metta Bhavana for her later on that evening. And I thought it was going to be like a normal Metta Bhavana, but it wasn't. So what happened was when I started the Metta Bhavana, I found that it was an extremely spiritual experience. I saw my cousin, and my cousin, I was kind of taken off to somewhere else, and I was talking to my cousin. I could see her, I could hear her, and I was saying goodbye to her. And she said goodbye to me, and she told me life's too short, and don't have quarrels with people, let things go, and that type of thing. Very wise words, and it was an incredibly spiritual experience. What I mean by spiritual in this sense is that it wasn't something that I was expecting. It was something far deeper than I was expecting. And I was just trying to do the Metta Bhavana for me, for me to reconcile my feelings. And I wasn't expecting it to be this kind of spiritual experience that I had. So we went to her funeral. Her funeral was in Brighton. And we learnt that she was a Buddhist, and she went to the Brighton Buddhist Centre, and so we had a puja there for her, and it was fantastic. However, this rekindled my daily practice because of this spiritual experience that I had. Before that, my daily meditation practice was probably wavering a bit, and after that, it very much strengthened it. It also strengthened because I'd done the meditation 1 and 2. I'd kind of finished with the Buddhist Center. I'd kind of, I was doing my meditations every day, and I was kind of happy with that. But it kind of rekindled something inside me that was to do with Buddhism rather than meditation. So I booked myself on a retreat at Vidrasana, which was a Buddhist meditation retreat, because at the time I was thinking that got on with meditation, and I'll play it safe and go to a meditation retreat. So that was a few months away, though. And so in the meantime, I saw that there was a non-residential retreat at the Cambridge Buddhist Centre. And I came on the non-residential retreat, and that was led by Abhayamati. And Abhayamati, during that, we did ritual, and Abhayamati explained that when you bow to the Buddha Rupa, you're not bowing to a god or a deity. You're bowing to your own potential. And he made me see Buddhist ritual from a different light. And from then on, I very much got on with Buddhist ritual. So I'm very thankful to him for that. So I went on the meditation retreat of Vidrasana, and strange things started happening during meditations that never happened before. Started seeing things. So it started off, I would see shapes, and then these progressed to me seeing smoke rings, and then I was kind of seeing kaleidoscopes and that type of thing. And Kula Priya was one of the people that was leading that retreat, and I spoke to him, and I explained about what I was experiencing, and so he said that it was samapati, that I was experiencing, and he said that that to enjoy it, but not to get too distracted by it. He was saying that it is a subtle form of distraction, and it's not the main purpose of the meditation. And it took me a long time to be able to kind of switch back to the main concentration of the meditation from seeing these wonderful shapes and things. They are quite distracting. So it did take me a long time to kind of be able to bring myself back to the main focus of the meditation. So after the Vipassana retreat, I went on a few courses. I went on the Life with Full Attention course, and I went on the Journey in the Guide, and I got more involved in the Buddhism side. I started helping out helped out at Vipassana retreat, and I was cooking at Vipassana retreat with Dharmanatha. And I remember that was cooking a red lentil dal, and I'd never cooked for so many people before. Cooked for family and things, but not so many people. And you had these massive pans that you had to cook for kind of lots and lots of people. And I was very concerned, let's say, that I didn't think that the water was going to boil in time, and the red lentils were not going to cook. And Dharmanatha said, he was very calm about the whole situation. You see people in kitchens and chefs and things, and they all seem to be very stressed. And Dharmanatha was very, very calm, and he said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "Worst case scenario, we'll ring the bell 10 minutes later." And it's like, it was just that kind of switched me from being in a mode where I've got to get this done now to, okay, that makes sense. And it's these type of things that I see in order members, this kind of calmness, it's these type of things that made me want to go further into Buddhism. And it is these type of things that have made me a calmer person. Learning about the Dharma, getting more into meditations and everything has made me a much calmer person than I used to be. And that's basically why I'm a Buddhist, is to, I started off trying to get a cure for insomnia, and I ended up being a much calmer person. So, thank you.
Great. Thanks very much, Damien, for sharing that. Of fame.
Thank you.
Great. So yeah, thanks very much, Damien. It's just really, really good, isn't it? Hearing a life, hearing Buddhism in the flesh, hearing the process. Of course, it's sort of different for each of us, but something communicated, something that I resonate with actually every time I hear a story like that. So we're about to hear another story from Amarachandra. So Amarachandra actually is the women's which coming up. So I've known Amarachandra for a long time. But it's a delight. We've never worked together, actually.
Yeah.
It's a real delight working together, quite closely here at the Buddhist Centre, coming up with mad ideas about what to do on Sangha Night and the like.
Or becoming mad, coming up with ideas. That's the other version.
Yeah, but it's just really, really good working with loads and loads of experience of Buddhism, being a Buddhist a long time. We're about to hear a bit about it. Lovely, keen intelligence actually that Amachandra's got, and a lovely sense of fun, a real sort of light sense of fun, which can sound like a frivolous quality, and I don't think it is. Sense of fun is really, really important. It can make the difference between continuing on the path.
Yes, that's true.
So some things that I very much appreciate working with Amachandra. So over to you.
Great, thank you. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Just have a look around the room, sort of stuck in my little corner.
So you want to bell at 12 minutes?
Hello, everyone. If you, I can see it actually. Thanks, Damien. Great start. And so I found out that I was going to give this talk at about, it was about 4:45. So, and then we were here for, maybe it was a bit earlier. Anyhow, we came here for a team meeting at 6:30. So, why am I a Buddhist? Damn fine question. And one that comes along every so often. It's like, why am I a Buddhist? Why am I doing this? It's a good question though, isn't it? And you sort of come with a different angle on it at different times. And it's a really good question to keep asking. Otherwise, you sort of have routines and sort of become a bit superficial with things. So it's really good to sort of ask, why am I a Buddhist? Why am I doing things? What's important to me? What gives my life value? Perhaps I have become a bit routine. Perhaps I have become a bit uninterested in my meditation practice. Whatever, and I need to sort of revivify something or sort of find a sort of new spark of inspiration. So it's a good question. And then thinking about this, I sort of decided to go back to when I first got in contact with Buddhism. And actually my first contact with Buddhism was in Thailand, traveling around. And then my first contact with the Triratna Buddhist Buddhist community was in Kathmandu. There was some guys teaching meditation in Kathmandu, and it was great because I'd seen different elements of Buddhism, Thai Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and I was like, these people are doing it, and if they're doing it, I can do it too. It was really important. I didn't want to take on another culture in a way. I wanted to practice really authentically. And I think, that's just really important to me. So then I came to England because I'm from Australia. So I was traveling that route. So from Kathmandu, I came to England and I lived in Oxford for a while. And then I went back to Sydney, and then I thought, no, come on, I'm going to throw my lot in with these people. And I came back here to Cambridge, where I met Artist City many years ago, and we both worked with quite a few other people here, both worked at a Buddhist business that was in Cambridge for a long time. It was a really thriving, lively, engaging context for lots of us to sort of practice and deepen Buddhism. So I think the first thing that really had an impact on me when I encountered Buddhism and meditation was the idea of mindfulness. So this is quite a long time back. There weren't mindfulness books and mindfulness practices, and it wasn't really a word. It was back then, it was a Buddhist practice. So, now it's wider, and that's fantastic as well. So the idea of becoming more present, more grounded, more embodied and more aware, this was something I sort of I needed in sort of spades. So I just began to practice mindfulness really gently, really lightly. And it had a big effect, actually. I felt myself kind of knitting together a bit more, being able to be more present. I was more, being able to be more present, more of me was present. It seems ridiculous to say it like that, but actually I was aware of more of me. And I used to have little practices at work. I used to do a little mindfulness walk whenever I went to the photocopier. Remember photocopiers? And then that has stayed with me, actually. Wherever I've worked, I have a little mindfulness walk to the photocopier, and it's great. It's not very far to a photocopier, but it just, I just walk there. I don't do anything else. I just do it. So I need to get some new ones, actually. I need to get some new versions, maybe walking down. We've got 2 flights of stairs at home, walking down the stairs. I can sort of bring that a bit more. So, it was very affecting. I felt more whole. I felt more present and more alive, less distracted. And then, of course, from that sense of being present, you can make more aware choices, can't you? You can sort of be aware of the choices that you're making. Oh, I'm going, or be aware when you've made, if you've got a bit, if I've got a bit reactive or stroppy or, a bit harsh in my speech or something like that. And maybe I'm not aware so much when I say it, but I can be aware afterwards and sort of try and make amends or sort of make the situation better. But hopefully, of course, I'm aware before that, and I can take a deep breath and sort of say, oh, okay, let's I could do it your way, or that sounds fine. And the Buddhist path isn't straight. It's very, very cyclic and circular. And I've been coming back to a practice of mindfulness with a real need just lately. So I think over lockdown, and then just various other things, being at home working, I never have those breaks from the computer. And then we have more and more ways to be in contact with each other at work. So, my Slack channels and And actually, I got really dependent on my phone. And I could feel my hand reaching for that phone all the time. And I could feel myself, my mind fragmenting, actually, in ways, and it was a really uncomfortable experience. It's like, what's happened? Where's my mind? I kept having that Pixie song. Remember that Pixie song? Where is my mind? And we're walking around going, where is my mind? So I'm taking on this mindfulness practice again, actually, with sort of with a real need. It's like, bloody hell, I really need to do this practice again. So I'm really, really looking at how I'm using my phone and looking at my time online because I want to knit myself back together again. And it's really working. It's really working. There's a level of mental distress and mental kind of fragmentation that is not there anymore. And I'm feeling a bit more like my old self. So, So the Buddhist path isn't straight. But, you come back to a practice and I don't have to start again quite at base level. I've got this practice under my belt. Actually, I've got a little picture of a belt here. Practice under my belt, and that sort of can help me come back to the practice. I kind of know what I'm looking for. Yeah, but it's easy, isn't it? It's easy to to get distracted and to get sort of fragmented and to conditions change, and all of a sudden we were more online, and then it just becomes a habit, and it's so easy and it's so unsatisfactory, and yet it draws us in and again and again. So the other thing that was really key in me moving towards Buddhism was the metta bhavana and compassion. So when I'd first encountered Buddhism, I went on one of those 10-day retreats, and it was in Thailand. I mean, the thing that stays with me was the beds was just slabs of concrete, and you got one of those little tiny mats made out of bamboo to sort of soften the cement. We also had to get up really early. No reading, no writing, no eye contact. It was kind of really alienating. So that was my first experience. Probably not. Maybe it didn't work. It didn't sort of open me up anyhow. But when I heard about compassion in Buddhism, I was like, yes, this is something I could be interested in. I wasn't interested in something without compassion, without an other regarding, was not going to draw me onto the path. I needed to know that love and compassion and kindness was a really key part, and it is a really key part of the Buddhist Dharma. And then I started to learn the Metta Bhavana, and when I was living in Oxford, and I had a boss. She was fantastic. She was a professor, and she had started up a little refugee studies department at Oxford, and she was known everywhere. But she got that department set up. So she was really determined, really focused, really cranky, really sort of didn't suffer fools. So whenever you worked with her, it was. You were sort of like, what's she going to say? She also chain smoked. I mean, you couldn't smoke inside. But anyhow, in her office, she chain smoked, and her desk was piled with papers. What do you want? And her assistant was similar, had a similar kind of thing. So so I remember one time going up to speak to her, and she was like, "What the do you want?" And I just felt like, God, people don't, it was just like, what the hell do you want? What the fuck do you want? And it's like, such a mean way to talk to people. And I was relatively new. So, I just want the answer to such and such. But then I was going along to my Buddhist class that night, and I thought, someone for the fourth stage. So I popped her into the fourth stage, and again, a bit like sort of what you were saying, it was quite ordinary in a way. I just, but I did, I brought her to mind, and I thought about her, and maybe took a few deep breaths. Who knows what was happening? But the next day, I got back to work. And she was like, hi. And it's like, ooh. And something really big shifted. Like then she was like, do you want to go for lunch? It's like, not really. And I was like, yeah, sure. It was sort of like something really shifted in this. And I was gobsmacked. I was like, oh my God, this really works. And I think that had a big effect. Like not only was it about that practice of the Metta Bhavana that really works, it's about something, there's some other subtle layer here, something subtle, something else is going on that's not just about where I'm particularly directing the mind that I know. It's about sort of the intention of the heart or something even more mysterious. But it was great. It was like, wow. And I do still think that the Metta Bhavana is the most radical practice that we have. I just think it is a truly radical practice. And imagine actually if lots and lots of people were practicing the Metta Bhavana. Imagine. We've got war going on not that far from us, but these things could be, really radically overcome. What if we had a different way of viewing the world and a different way of being in the world? 2 more minutes. And so along with starting to practice ethics, I felt like Buddhism was giving me a toolkit to be in the world. And and the tools were kind of like the path. It was sort of like it was a way of being in the world, sort of walking the path and sort of seeing that these things had an effect, and they gave me ways to work in the world. And I think what I really appreciated was that I think many people, many religions, we really want to be more compassionate. We want to be more wise, more open. But I felt like Buddhism gave me ways to do that, really practical ways to open up, to open up to something that was bigger than I was, or open up to those areas that feel a bit scary even, great compassion. It's a bit scary. So many people in the world. The other thing that had a really big effect on me was friendship and exemplification. I really, the kindness, as you mentioned as well, the kindness of people that I met at the Buddhist centres was really moving, actually. I felt like I'd rarely encountered a sort of level of just attention and being with me. And I still had that not that long ago, talking to Jana Vacha, who's the president of the Cambridge Buddhist Centre. He lives down in London. He's very experienced and lovely. And I met up with him, it was however long ago it was, ages ago, and just sitting with him, sitting side by side. And I thought, oh, I think I'm falling a little bit in love with him because he's so lovely. Anyhow, I didn't fall in love with him. But yeah, just sort of like, oh, I could just be in your aura a bit. Yeah. And I think then, so that's sort of the other part of all of this is that there's something, Buddhism also points to something that's beyond my own personal self-development. And that's really interesting to me. That is really interesting to me. So I can do my own sort of personal self-development, but Buddhism is a much bigger story somehow. The experience of the Buddha's enlightenment, the teachings that come to us, the meditation experiences that are open to us all, point to something bigger, something more interesting, more like tingly or more unknowable, more mysterious, that's the word I'm looking for, more mysterious, more interesting than I could come up with, more interesting than my own personal development. So, having experiences in meditation retreats and things like that of sort of a kind of interconnectedness that I don't have any words for, but that connects me, not even me, that sort of connects us all, it unfolds the world. And I can sort of see that actually the mind states that I bring to my experience shape my world. And I can sort of work with my mind states in subtle and then sort of in other ways as well. Well, in really simple ways of just like trying to be more present. And then sort of something else unfolds. So I think there's something really mysterious in there that is really interesting. And it's not just about how far I can open up and develop. It's sort of something sort of way beyond that. So I think I'll leave it.
Great.
Okay.